Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. In this video, I'm going to be showcasing some of the changes that were made to the bottom tree Gunslinger subclass with the arrival of the Season of Dawn. In the background, you're going to see a bunch of gameplay. There's a lot of knives being thrown, because that's sort of like the big main event, if you will, for the changes to this subclass. So lots of knives being chucked. Also, in all the gameplay in the background, I am wearing the Bombardiers. So they're the new exotic boots for the hunter, which makes it so that anytime you dodge, you're going to leave a bomb behind, and it can do, I think, upwards of a, depending on how close the target is to that explosion, upwards of 100 to 120 damage. It really does depend on their proximity. So on top of that, in the build, I'm using maximum mobility now that there are no more Paragon mods, and instead your ability cooldown for the hunter at least is tied directly to that mobility stat. So that's actually a buff, by the way. If you didn't know, that's a huge buff to hunters, because for Armor 2.0, Paragon mods cost 4 energy in your armor. The mobility mod only costs 3. So that's going to free you up to do some other cool things in your build. A lot of times for using some of these enhanced perks, you're only 1 energy off. That guy was lagging, by the way. You're only 1 energy off, so dropping the Paragon mod down to 3 energy tied directly to mobility, that's actually a pretty sizable buff for hunters. Alright, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of the video. I want to talk specifically about the changes to the solar subclass, the bottom tree, for Gunslinger, and how they play, you know, how they feel. Basically, man, this is like a whole new subclass at this point. It's like a whole new subclass. So basically, these changes to the knife, you guys know, if you watch my content, you knew I was apprehensive about these knives. This was a pretty cool play, by the way. I had the tether here. I ended up kind of just sissy-footing around this little pillar part here, watching the radar, and kited out the entire super until this guy pushed me with the shotty, and I actually used the Bombardiers plus a melee plus a headshot knife to get a nice double kill there. But anyways, this whole tree just feels so different. I was apprehensive about these knives because admittedly I was concerned about losing the it's not that I was concerned about them because I thought they were going to be too powerful. It's actually quite the opposite. I was concerned about these throwing knives, the one-hit kill throwing knives, because I was afraid they were going to be too weak, and they were going to remove some of the utility that the bottom tree Gunslinger had, because the bottom tree Gunslinger before this update was able to use knives as a reaction, basically to say, you know what, I need, in this moment, right here, right now, I need a lot of damage. Not 3 bullets from now, I need it now. And that's the utility of the throwing knife before this update. You push the button, the knife goes out, there's no delayed explosion like top tree, it's just all your damage right now. And I really liked that. I've always been a fan of, there's a nice Bombardier kill there. I've always been a fan of that that ability of the bottom tree Gunslinger to be able to have these knives in the moment do big damage right now. Always like that. So I was afraid that they were going to lose that utility, and quite frankly, they kind of did. Like it's not instant release, instant damage anymore. Nice little jump snipe there. It's not instant release, instant damage anymore. It's a little bit different. It has to be a little bit more premeditated. So I gotta admit, I like it more than I thought I would. You see the Bombardiers kited that super into a bomb and then hit him in the head with a knife. This guy caught me awkwardly trying to clamber up those boxes. I couldn't do it, but luckily he choked his shotty, so I just rolled and hit him with a knife. But anyways, and here's a nice little counterplay to the super with the knife to the head there. I had to drop an emote because that's just what you do when you outplay supers in really flashy fashion. Another little jump snipe here. I like these knives. As you can see from this gameplay, I like them a lot more than I thought I would. And yes, it admittedly does change the way that this skill tree plays. It's not the same as it used to be. But I like it. I do. I have to admit, I'm happy to eat my words. Anytime something in Destiny is better than I expected it to be, that's a time where I'm happy I was wrong. You know, conversely, it's the opposite. I don't like being wrong when that means that Destiny suffers, but I don't mind being wrong when that means that Destiny is for the better. And I think this is one of those times I whiffed the knife there. You do have to get used to it, this animation. But there's a lot of utility here, and I thought these were going to be real gimmicky, but they do have a lot of utility, these knives. Being able to eliminate a target, especially when you're outnumbered, being able to eliminate a target without using any of your ammunition so that you have more ammo, you know, before you have to reload to take out guy number 2, guy number 3, right? There's a lot of utility there. It's very useful. And I think with this build I'm running about 50, I'm like 5 out of 10 tier for strength. So literally middle of the pack in terms of strength. So my melee ability regeneration rate is pretty much just smack dab in the middle. But since I'm running max mobility, I'm dodging a lot. And that means I'm getting my knife back a lot. And I'm also landing a lot of headshots with these knives, which gives me my my knife back instantly. So you can throw a whole lot of knives. Now, some people are choosing to run Ophidias. You know, they want to have double knife charges, and that's fine. But I really do like these bombardiers, and everything just synergized so well together. And I didn't find myself lacking in the knife department very often. I usually had it, like even right there, I'd just dodge. And here's a good example. Here's a good example. I was hugging the wall there because the cooldown goes through walls if they're close enough to you. It doesn't matter if there's a wall in between you. So I waited until my radar was lit up and I knew they were on the other side of that wall. I dodged, got my knife charge back, and then got a double kill with the knives because I hit him in the head. And you know, unlike the throwing hammer, I didn't have to go pick it up. It goes straight into my inventory, ready to throw again. Here's another nice double with the knife, I believe, if I remember correctly. But schmack, it's cooled down, pull a 180, and schmack. They're fun, and the hitboxes are pretty. I'm being honest with you here. The hitboxes for these knives are pretty generous. I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, they're really hard to hit, but they feel good when they do. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say they're easy to hit, but I will say the hitboxes are pretty generous. I mean, there's sometimes where I was like, I hit that, but anyways, there's a lot of utility in these things. So much more than I thought. So much more than I thought there would be. So I think that these changes to the bottom tree are going to be very, 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 very helpful in making this skill tree feel very relevant in the sandbox this season. Now, in terms of the super got buffed as well. I don't know if you knew this. The super got buffed as well. It used to be that the hitboxes, the aim assist, etc. for the 3-shot Goldie was pretty bad. Like, sometimes you're like, I don't understand how that golden gunshot was a miss. I don't understand it. Well, luckily they changed it. They buffed the hit registration on this thing, or the accuracy, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But I'm finding it so much easier to land golden gun shots, which is a very welcome change, because a lot of times it's like, I only have 3 shots and they suck. So it's like landing all 3 of these is not that easy. But anyway, so the buff there is feeling pretty good. The buff to like weapon accuracy and stability when you're chaining precision hits, I'm sure it's there. Do I sense it? Do I feel it? I don't know, probably not. But it's there, and it's sort of passively helping you with your hit registration, which is nice as well. So what are you guys thinking? How do you feel? How do you feel about this subclass and the changes to it? Are you Hunter main or not? Are you on the receiving end of these knives, or are you on the giving end? I've already seen some people saying, I can't land these things. Like, this buff did nothing for me. And that's fair. You could be in that boat, and you could be like, you know what, I land maybe 1 or 2 of these a game. They don't feel very useful, and that could be a very fair thing to say, depending on your experience. Or you could be like me. You could be like, listen, I'm hitting these things right and left. I whiffed one there. I'm hitting these things right and left, and then in the gameplay I'm whiffing one. It always works like that too. Always works like that. I could have a video where I played 3 unbroken teams. I'm like, in this video, you're gonna see me playing against some pretty competent players, but in that in that very moment in the background, I'm playing against somebody who's not landing anything, and then it always pops up in the comment section. Anyways, neither here nor there. Thanks for watching the video. How do you feel about this subclass? Please let me know. And I hope to catch you in the Crucible. Bye-bye.